Hey everyone, welcome to a special episode of the award-winning Legends of Sport podcast. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. Many of you know I am a longtime board member of a terrific nonprofit organization called SPARC, the South Pasadena Arts Council. Over the years, we have brought the Legends of Sport podcast to various events to help promote the arts and the artists in my area of South Pasadena, California. So for this episode, we took the podcast to the closing of a show at the SPARC Gallery, which featured the collaboration of my sports photography with a painter named Taura. The show was titled The Art of Sport, and it was really fun for my friend Taura and I to combine our talents. Taura's style is kind of reminiscent of street art, which I feel goes hand in hand with mural art. You may know that Legends of Sport produced Vanessa Bryant's recent book, which paid tribute to Kobe and Gigi's legacy through the art of murals. The book is called Mamba and Mambacita Forever, and I served as director of photography. It's a beautiful book of 116 of the more than 600 murals worldwide that Vanessa personally chose to document. I hope you all get a copy at your local bookstore or online soon. To close the show at the SPARC Gallery, I sat down with one of the muralists who actually has two of his murals in the book. His name is Jonas Never, and it was such a pleasure to chat with him about a wide range of topics related to the art of murals. Jonas is one of the world's most well-known muralists. His murals of the Dodgers, Lakers, and Kings are all over the LA area, as well as in so many other places throughout the country. It was a joy to collaborate with Jonas on a beautiful mural of Kobe, which was commissioned by the owner of my office building and sponsored by SPARC in 2021. That mural was inspired by my last photo of Kobe in uniform as he walked off the court in 2016 after dropping 60 points and dropping the mic with Mamba out. It was definitely a fun way to close the Art of Sport show with this conversation with Jonas, which also included a book signing of all three of my books. All proceeds went to SPARC to help continue to support the arts in our area. So folks, please enjoy this episode and chat with the artist Jonas Never, and as always, I'll see you on the backside. Well, this is a nice looking group. Thanks everybody for coming to the this great presentation tonight. I'm so thrilled to have Jonas Never here. Really happy everybody showed up to support the South Pasadena Arts Council, which I'm a board member. My fellow board members are here. I see them all throughout. So just so that you guys realize this whole setup, I do a podcast called Legends of Sport, big surprise. And we're going to release this as an episode next few weeks. So check us out on Instagram at Legends of Sport or YouTube, Legends of Sport, and you will see this this great program. So I just want to talk a little bit about this show. The show that's up right now is called The Art of Sport, and I had a lot of fun doing this show with a good friend of mine who's an artist. Her name is Taura, and I had some prints that were actually damaged by some water damage in my office. I was ready to throw them out. All of these have mildew on the back, or they were trashed. And she said, no, give them to me. Let me fool around with them. And she did this amazing treatment of them, which kind of looks like street art, graffiti, right? So these are the original prints that she actually painted over. We can't sell them, unfortunately, because of licensing issues. However, we do have artist proofs over here that you guys can check out. There's one artist proof for each of these. We're selling those at $250 each, and all the proceeds obviously go to SPARC. So if any of these interest you, please check them out after the show. Also, afterwards, Jonas and I will be thrilled to sign any books that you guys want. I have all three of my books here. First book, Journey to the Ring, which I did with Phil Jackson in 2009 and 10. And The Mamba Mentality with the late, great Kobe Bryant. And Mamba and Mambacita Forever, which just came out in November. So we're going to talk a lot about that right here, right now. So thrilled to have artist Jonas Never here with us. truly one of the most well-known mural artists in the world. I mean, not just in LA, but in the world. We met, I don't know if we actually met, because I walked by it and you and I exchanged glances. Maybe I said hi, but you were busy at work. We met when you were painting the 20th anniversary mural inside what was it called Staples Center. I think we have a video of that.
And
so you guys check that out.
I think they actually had me reach out to you. Oh, sorry.
No, you can talk to
I think they actually had me reach out to you about getting some photos for
yes,
doing the
that's
King's
right.
Training Facility, and it never came through, but then Staples Center.
Yeah. So this is the 20th anniversary of Staples Center. And if you guys are ever in there, it's in the main concourse, sort of near the store, the big store.
Right where the statues are when you go in. I had no idea who Taylor Swift or Kendrick Lamar were when that happened.
Or Lou Williams.
Yeah.
Right?
Had to sneak the Clippers in back then.
So you've painted so many diverse subjects, Jonas. We have time to go into them. And so many of LA's sports heroes, Bailey be one of the great Kings mascot. Of course, we have the great Shohei Ohtani, which is probably a once-in-a-lifetime athlete for all of us, right? Plays two ways. But this is inside the Grand Central Market, and we'll talk more about that because that's kind of related to what we're discussing about Kobe today, Kobe and Gigi. And then what's the next one? Oh, then this one blew my mind. This after this was last year?
During the playoffs last year.
Last year, yeah.
I just started Fernando when he passed, and then we kept adding stuff as the
Right.
playoffs went on to kind of turn it into more of a World Series wall as we realized they might actually have a chance to win this thing. And
Yeah. I mean, but the scale of this is unbelievable, man. I mean, it's like a whole side of a building. How long did it take to paint this?
that one took exactly a month. I had to lift for 30 days. And
Unbelievable.
doing the cityscape was probably not my brightest move, but it worked out
It's
well.
it's truly amazing. And then, we have a nice shot of you posed in front of it. There you go. Your Dodger swag.
All the news interviews were always at 6 a.m. So
Yeah, exactly.
I had
Yeah.
to keep sunglasses on. I was so tired.
This next, I would be remiss if I didn't put this next video in because this video is incredible. Check this out.
Listen. It was weird watching myself paint.
Yeah. This is such a great video. Thanks for sending this, by the way.
Guys from Keeping Up with the Kardashians filmed this.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time.
This is fabulous. But you can really tell your process and how
It's got to work downward, so if you drip, you don't mess anything
it's
up.
amazing. So not only you got you, but you got the man himself wearing a Kobe jersey.
Yeah, it's kind of a full circle moment.
I love it. I love it. Jonas, talk a little bit about your path as an artist, because I actually don't know this. You and I've never really sat down and talked about how you got into art in the first place, how you became this amazing muralist, street artist, and I know you don't consider that like a bad term per se, but talk about it. Talk about your journey.
I grew up in Venice Beach, where there was like street art murals everywhere. But I felt even by the time, like after they were up for a couple years, they already kind of felt dated. A lot of the subject matters were very colorful and faded a lot in like the sunlight, and they didn't really necessarily like tie into the community. Mm-hmm. And I was a baseball player my whole life, and kind of once baseball ended, I started trying to figure out what can I paint that actually has an impact on where you're painting it. Because if you do a gallery show, people go to the show to see it. If you're doing a mural, you become kind of part of the neighborhood. So I wanted to tie some sort of connection. I realized sports and pop culture were two of the biggest things. Like if a TV show was filmed there, if a team played nearby, it made it more relevant. It made it make sense to locals and to tourists. And at that point, there weren't really that many sports murals. I remember there were like some Olympics ones on the freeways, but there really wasn't much else. Like I think I did one of the first 2 Kobe murals in LA, and I think the first Dodger one that I remember that wasn't like an ad.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, they're everywhere, and that's kind of a great thing.
For sure. I mean, well, let's talk about it, because this mural, correct me if I'm wrong, was 2017 went up? 18?
2016, 2017, whatever
Well,
year
he
he
retired in 2016.
It was that year.
So it was that following season, right?
No, I think it was during his final season. So we didn't even know if he was going to retire, if they were going to retire 8 or 24
Right,
yet.
that's right.
And we actually saw him fly over in his helicopter while we were painting. And yeah, we did that one illegally, which is kind
of... Well, you got to tell that story. That story I know, but
yeah.
Tell us about how this mural came about and why it's where it is. First of all, it's on Lebanon Street, which is a little street just kind of southeast, I think, of Staples Center
pretty much
or
like
Crypto.
right across from the convention center. And my buddy who I painted it, who did the lettering, he's like, "Oh, I've got this perfect wall." And I didn't really ask any questions, and we wore safety vests and hard hats and looked very official. And not in that photo, but in most of it. And no one stopped us the whole time. And we didn't even think to check the Kings schedule, so there were fans like parking in that lot for the Kings games, and people were just walking by like, we're just technically painting illegally in the middle of downtown LA. And
so what did the building owner?
No one ever came out.
No one ever came out.
All the entrances were on whatever the side street was, because they're all one-way streets around there. And they were doing construction on every building around us as the neighborhood was kind of gentrifying. So they just ignored us. And then it went from being the street that no one could figure out where it is. And now you go on like Google Maps and it's like Kobe mural, like Lebanon Street. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of a trip.
That's amazing. And then we have another shot. You can actually see in this next shot, this is the alley.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so the convention center is like pretty much
TV,
and Staples Center would be.
Yeah, so if you guys are down near the arena or LA Live or convention center, you got to check it out. It's only like 3 blocks away, right?
And when the memorials happened, all the fans were there, and that's when the only mural I've been okay with people writing on.
Mm-hmm. So you and I had met, but we hadn't really become friends until after the tragedy. Which we're coming up, by the way, folks, on Monday. It's going to be the 6-year anniversary of the death of Kobe and Gigi. And I saw all these murals going up all over LA, all over Southern California. I was driving around LA during COVID, seeing murals, and then there were no murals in our area. There was this one mural in Glendale, which is it's a nice mural. But there are no murals in Pasadena, Highland Park, any of this immediate area. So I talked to my building owner, Thano, and his son, John Adamson, who own Mission Tile West. They have this huge wall down the driveway from 1020 Mission. It's like literally 3 blocks from here. And turns out big Laker fans, of course, big Kobe fans as well. And I didn't even have to ask. They said, well, let's put a mural on that wall. It's a perfect spot. And lo and behold, they treated the wall. They had to do all kinds of work on the wall, make it even and all kinds of stuff. There was some kind of big signage on there. And once it was ready, they said, okay, please recommend 3 muralists that we can consider on 3 different styles. We want to be able to make a choice and who's going to paint it. And I gave them 3 different muralists, Jonas being one, and right off the bat, that's the guy. he's going to paint the mural. So SPARC got involved, became a fundraising effort. We raised the funds to help Jonas paint the mural. It took 16 days.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. So you see me wearing a mask. Obviously, this is early 2021, I believe. That's the photo that Jonas is painting the mural from. It's the last photo that I shot of Kobe in a Laker uniform before he walked off the court after dropping 60, Mamba out. The next photo after that, he's literally off the court. So it was a very poignant moment. So I want to show this incredible time lapse, guys, that we shot of this, and you can really tell Jonas's process here. How it's like a grid system that you do. It's amazing.
Kind of like when you're in elementary school and they make you enlarge images, kind of
yeah.
Learn that and take it a different
level. It's insane.
Trying to remember why I didn't use the scissor lift because it's an active driveway. I didn't want to block those streets.
You kept having to move the ladder.
Tried to stay in shape. God, it was shady there. There's some brutal walls.
Yeah. But you were this guy, 8 o'clock in the morning, working until dark, nonstop. I don't think you even ate during the day.
Rarely.
And then he's painted every one of these accomplishments on the right side, and then all of the donors on the left side freehand, right?
Yeah. I said do 100 names for the golf tournament, so.
Unbelievable. And there it is. Yeah, I love that photo, and I love that mural. Pretty cool, right? And then the next shot, there he is, the man himself. So then we had a lot of fun. It was the summer of 2021, and we were just all coming out of COVID and being able to kind of get together in sort of smallish groups, right? Everyone is still wearing a mask, but we had a reveal of the mural, which was hosted by the great Jim Reynolds over here. So let's take a look at this video. Got Michael Cooper here in the bottom right. You see him with the mask on? Lisa.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
So, folks, this mural literally is 3 blocks from here. So if you're walking down Mission towards Jones Coffee, there's a driveway, and it's right there in the driveway. It's become sort of the meeting place in South Pass. Like, I see people all the time, like, meet me at the Kobe mural. It's like meet me at the clock at Grand Central Station or whatever. This is the group. There's me, of course, and then Sandy Kiddo, our board president, Jonas, then John Adamson and Thano Adamson. And we were all wearing masks until the 3, 2, 1, and we took the masks off, then we put it back on. We weren't really supposed to actually be that close at that point. And then, lo and behold, last year, this happened. That happened. Yeah. In broad daylight, somebody vandalized the mural, basically from the waist down. We were mortified, obviously. I was like totally in shock and so scared to call you and tell you this, but Jonas, like, I'll take care of it. And you came out, and I don't know, it took 3 days to restore it, and it absolutely looks like it never happened. And now it's coated with an anti-graffiti coating, so God forbid it ever happens again. But if anybody ever sees anybody, all right, because this was in broad daylight, and it was actually on the security cameras, and on the security video, people are walking by and like looking, oh, that's interesting, and they just keep going. So the police caught the guy and blah blah blah. But anyway, so murals are going up all over the world, and as these murals are going up, they're being documented on Instagram. The artists are putting them up. There's an Instagram site, and lo and behold, Vanessa Bryant, Kobe's widow, I start seeing her post photos of herself at these murals. Like down the street from where she lives in Newport Beach, there's 3 or 4 murals. Dana Point, she came up to L.A. So, I had a wonderful relationship with both of them. That continued, obviously, after Kobe died, Kobe and Gigi. And I contacted her. I said, Vanessa, I see you've been going to some of these murals. I'm noticing that not only are they in LA, but they're starting to appear in other cities all over the world. How do you want to document that? Do you want to do a documentary, a film? She said, no. She said, I want to do a book, and I want you to get all the murals photographed now because I need to memorialize them for my littlest girls who didn't know their dad and their sister. And, so that was it. And this is the book that resulted. This book came out in November, and we're going to get more into that. So Jonas, there was no wide call to action. Like muralists all over the world didn't all get together on Twitter or something and say, let's go paint Kobe and Gigi murals. I mean, I think in the history of the world, it's never happened.
I've never seen anything like that. And it's kind of a perfect storm for someone who was meant so much to the city, meant so much to everyone who aspired to be a basketball player or to work hard.
Yeah.
Like there were so many different levels. He was literally worldwide. He traveled, he reached everywhere, and also getting I remember when Tupac died, I think there was 2 murals for him. And there's been a few memorial things, but I think there's one Richie Valens wall. Kobe was so much bigger than everything else. And now, since then, I've seen it happen to a lesser extent with like Nipsey Hussle and a few others, but nothing like this. Like this is no one. Yeah, getting artists together is like herding cats. Like you can't. Like there's no like. No like sanctioned approach. Everyone's kind of did it and paid tribute their own way. And I think a lot of artists did for the right reasons to pay homage to him, and then a lot did it just to get Instagram likes. And there was a you can kind of tell. And
very true.
I liked seeing some like the folk art type ones of people who may not have mural training but wanted to pay tribute to him. And I thought those in some ways were more special than the ones that were more like Nike branded.
Yeah, for sure. The writer who wrote the text in the book, by the way, if you get this book, you absolutely the pictures are great, of course, because there are all these beautiful murals. But the text in the book was written by a wonderful writer named Ivy Pachoda. And she has a great quote. She describes the effort of the muralists as a magical worldwide effort to transform grief into beauty. And Vanessa obviously agreed with that. She wrote something like that in the dedication. Your personal connection to Kobe and Gigi, I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, I bartended in a sports bar. So I didn't have much of a connection to Gigi. It's obviously tragic, but Kobe was the one that resonated with me. When you bartend in a sports bar, SportsCenter plays over and over all night. So, like, you actually feel like you know Kobe. You watch his entire career. Yeah. And just growing up a Laker fan in the city, like, I was not a basketball player by any means. And just, like, it still gave, like, watching him, like, the way he put out for the city and the way he just hustled. Like, you can approach art, you can approach any job you have, any task you have that same way. And it just, like you said, working long hours, painting the mural. I mean, that's like literally like the artistic version of like the Mamba mentality. And it's like so relatable and such like a powerful sentiment. And I think that's kind of what inspired, at least me.
Yeah, for sure. This book, there's almost 700 murals that are documented all over the world. I mean, except for Antarctica, they're on every single continent. In every corner of the earth is a Kobe mural. And Vanessa and I sat down. I made 8x10 prints of all the murals, and she went through them, and she picked 116 murals. And you have 2 murals in the book, right?
Yes.
Could have been 3, but it is 2. The second mural, we go back to Grand Central Market, and I want to talk about this one because this was such a moment. This was after the 2010 championship. You guys probably remember that. He jumped up on the scorer's table, and there's a very famous picture that my friend Garrett Elwood took from the back of Kobe where he's got his arms out like this, which I'm hoping is the next statue, but that's a whole other story. But this shot kind of was a secondary shot that doesn't get used very much. Why did you pick this one?
For a few different reasons. Yeah. The other murals I'd done of Kobe were all when he was still alive. So this is the first memorial mural I'd done. And it was in an era where all the murals had the angel wings and the halo. Yeah. And it felt just really sad. And I didn't want like this kind of overall artistic depression to be like across it. So I wanted to, and I think it was a 10-year anniversary of that win over the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to like kind of find a more positive moment to remember him in like victory rather than just as a memorial.
Yeah.
And the Grand Central guys were fully on board. They pivoted really quickly. Like, yes, let's do something positive that celebrates him. And it was, I wanted something that showed like the passion and actually showed his face. And
it's amazing.
And then there's so many, you see a lot of the poses repeated, like the one, like the one I didn't limit on. Like I've seen a lot of, and I wanted one that if you saw a photo of it quickly, you know, okay, that's the one at Grand Central where it stood out just for being different.
Yeah, it's interesting because many murals are painted from one of my photos, a dunk or a championship moment, him hugging the trophy, you know, all that stuff. But this photo, which was shot by my good friend Nat Butler, also with the NBA, I just love the photo. And the fact, I mean, every piece of graffiti, just like confetti, every single piece of confetti you had to paint individually, just like on the mural over here at Mission.
Well, also, so many of the murals were just him on a black or blank backdrop, and I wanted to have the full, like, this is Grand Central was in the heart of the city.
Right.
I wanted people to feel like they were, hey, that could be me in the background, and I wanted something different than just him with a glow. So.
And it's still there, right?
Yes, it's still there.
So the Otani mural is actually like
on the other side. Yeah, on the other side.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to do Kopitar there in a few weeks on the other side, too.
That's awesome. That's great. So after the tragedy on January 26, 2020, it seemed like all of LA came out to LA Live. I mean, the people, you know, it's just like when John Lennon died and everyone gravitated to the Dakota. It was mind-blowing, the amount of people that came to just be together and express their grief. It's really interesting what started to happen at your Lebanon Street mural. This is another shot of that Grand Central. But in Lebanon Street, the people started to come out and actually started writing messages to him on the mural, which, as an artist, how did you feel about that, by the way?
It was something I'd never seen before in any mural. Like usually if they write in a mural, it's like what happened at your wall, where someone's either crazy or someone's upset about the subject matter. This was the first time I've seen it act like a high school yearbook. Like I was here, like Kobe affected me. Mm-hmm. And it was, at first I was kind of hesitant because it started to grow a little bit. I was like, okay, don't get on his face. Don't ruin the actual integrity of the mural. But then I really liked to see that people were, writing messages to him and Gigi and kind of becoming a part of it.
Right. And, it's interesting because when when Vanessa and I sat down with the book, most of the murals that she picked were early in when they had been put up because, they hadn't been weathered yet and there hadn't been any kind of whatever, even graffiti. But the image she chose of this mural on Lebanon Street actually has the writing on it because she was so touched by the outpouring of love. And the fact that people migrated there to actually express their feelings is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about mural art as an art form, okay? It's kind of safe to say that mural art has been around since like the days of hieroglyphics, right? It's like one of the earliest forms of storytelling. Mm-hmm. Kobe was a storyteller on the court. Absolutely. You're a storyteller with your art. He was sort of a performance artist, and painting a mural in a public place is also sort of like performance art. Everyone's watching you do your work.
The whole process.
Yeah, what's that like?
It's actually Kobe changed it. Before Kobe, it was like people just kind of watch, and Instagram wasn't as big yet. Now, for about 3 years after his passing, every time I'd start a mural, I'd be like, "Are you painting Kobe?" And I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm painting this." But yeah, it's nerve-wracking because it gets dark and people are going to come and take photos, and you might be at a point where it looks a little wonky or you're not really happy with how it goes. And I'm my own worst critic, so I'll lie at night, awake at night, like drive myself crazy about what I got to do the next day. But it kind of inspires me to get out there and work hard the next day, and kind of some external pressure, I guess.
It's interesting you say that because there's a quote here that I have from Ivy, the writer. She says, quote, "The actual task of painting these murals demands a kind of dedication, relentlessness, curiosity, and vision that it's its own manifestation of the pillars of the Mamba mentality." So it's kind of your version of the Mamba mentality, right? She also says it takes extreme self-confidence to decide that your work is worthy of being splashed on the side of a public building.
That's tricky because I'm not. Usually I'm going over like a blank brick wall or something that's nothing real. So it's not. I'm not going over like the Mona Lisa. It's more just. It can't be any worse than the way it already was when it took over. But yeah, like there's only so many walls in the city, and now with half them being Netflix ads and stuff, it's sort of you do want to do a good job if you have the opportunity to get a wall in a prime location. So yeah, definitely. You're kind of like Kobe did as a player, kind of evolving, trying to make sure your stuff stands out and is done well.
Yeah. So, Mamba mentality is really all about work ethic. That's the bottom line of it. You have an incredible work ethic. I saw it every single day as you were painting the mural over there. Kobe wanted to be as great as in his craft or greater than everyone else. There's a lot of Kobe murals out there.
Yes.
Do you feel that the artists sort of push each other? Like somebody sees your mural, they want to maybe do a better one, or they pick a better photo or a better inspiration. How do you feel about that?
Really good question. I think a lot of it was just making sure they paint Kobe, period, sort of like same way people approach the graffiti towers now. People just want to be a part of like a movement. And then I think as they progressed, some people just raced. I remember like the moment he passed, people were racing out to get him done that day, and some it was a sprint just to be like the first ones to do it in their city or in their area or whatever it was, or to do a certain photo. And then others took months and months and made sure it was perfect. Like I saw some basketball courts in like the Philippines. It took forever, and I thought it was kind of cool seeing everyone's different approach, whether it was just to get it out there, to get it in a major spot, to get it, just the way you want it. Like, it was cool seeing all the different approaches, all the different, and I'm still discovering Kobe murals.
Amazing. Yeah. Kobe was obviously a girl dad, and you're a new boy dad, right? Your son is what, 5 months?
5 months.
You talk a little bit about the legacy that Gigi left. Ivy talks about it very eloquently, and so did Vanessa. Vanessa said, Ivy wrote, "The murals show a father and daughter together forever. united by talent, commitment, and renewal. And then Vanessa wrote in the dedication, and you guys, if you get the book, you'll read it. She wrote about Gigi, quote, "You're empowering future generations of female athletes to dream bigger and not accept the status quo." And she was just getting started.
Yeah.
Right. There's so many threads to the tragedy, but the tragedy of losing her at the beginning of her journey, it's incomprehensible.
And it's all untapped potential. And, having Kobe be a girl dad in women's basketball would have been such a face for the sport and it would have pushed that sport so much farther. And, Caitlin Clark and some others are doing it themselves, but it would have been a whole different level with Kobe and the Mamba branding and all that. But I don't know, as long as the murals of her are out there and the murals of them out there, like they'll kind of sort of stay alive. Like as long as people are talking about you and remembering you, you're kind of in a way. Yeah. When people stop talking, that's kind of when you're officially gone.
Mm-hmm. So tell us what you're working on right now. What's going on?
Right now, I'm doing a bunch of panels for the golf tournament, the Riviera. It's the 100th anniversary, so I'm doing the whole 100 years of history of everything there and a lot of Tiger Woods stuff. And then the Dodgers are building a minor league stadium in Ontario, so I'm doing a big mural of Fernando out there.
You never rest, man. This guy is always working.
And Kopitar decided to retire in the middle of this, so I'm sure I'll do him soon too.
Yeah, that's great. And I just saw you. You gave Luka Doncic a print of the mural that you did of him, right?
Well, that's actually the real painting.
That was the real painting.
I painted it live in the tunnel suites during when they played the Mavericks, sort of as a middle.
That was cool.
Yeah, to see it. Look what you missed.
And what did you think of it?
He loved it. His family was in the suite right behind me, so they were sending him photos throughout it. Couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, guys, does anybody have any questions? First of all, we can open it up for questions if anybody has any, or we could talk to us after.
Luke actually donated to one of the other Kobe murals that got destroyed, and I think he
he did
$10,000 to fix it up.
The one on what was it, on Broadway or something?
I haven't seen it in person, but saw photos.
Sir, I was just curious, who have been your biggest supporters? Are they individuals or teams or agencies, or government, and then where are your greatest challenges of getting support from?
Justin Turner and Joe Kelly are two of the bigger supporters. Like Justin Turner, when he was with the Dodgers, opened a ton of doors for me. Like I played against him in college, and
really,
originally the Dodgers were kind of difficult with like branding. They wanted pretty much to get paid for anything that involved the Dodger logo, and Justin was like, no, this guy's celebrating our team, and it went from kind of being an opposition to painting inside their stadium. So Justin opened a ton of doors, and then Joe Kelly and his wife went to my college. So UC Riverside Connection, they were trying to drop sports like I think during the pandemic, and we ended up kind of joining together, and now we got a ton of alumni stuff with that. So they've been huge. And then General Real Estate on the west side's gotten me a ton of walls throughout Santa Monica and Venice, and they got me my giant Venice wall in I think 2011 maybe, and they got me a huge start just getting prime opportunity walls in Venice, and now those same walls would be like hundreds of thousands to rent for an ad. So it was a different era, and I was really appreciative to get those opportunities. Yeah. And as for challenges, just making sure it actually looks like them, like finding a photo. Like over 20 years, Kobe looks different through different eras, and like there's some people like I'll never paint Gwen Stefani again. She looks different in every single photo. Like that was a nightmare. But like making sure you actually make it look. If you're doing a representational portrait, making sure it looks like them, and then making sure it resonates. Like trying to paint someone that people understand or appreciate, or that makes me happy.
Yeah, Vanessa was really clear on the murals that she picked to be in the book that they had to look like them.
Yeah.
And there was some beautiful murals that were kind of futuristic, maybe sort of, animated, cartoonish, superhero. Those got immediately X'd.
And there are some great ones that are more interpretive, there are some that are representational that feel a little bland, but everyone's got their own take on art.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing I want to say about this book and the project is a great quote from Vanessa that she said, because of this book and the artistry of muralists like you, Jonas, that Kobe and Gianna's presence is still here. That it's still here. We can still celebrate them. There's grief, of course, in the tragedy, but the presence, especially in LA, will always be here. So I thank you for that. We all thank you for that. Thank you for the mural you did outside my office, which I get to say hi to him every single morning when I go to work, which is great. Yeah.
You're done. I had two really quick.
Yeah.
One is, I saw the mural here, especially how you did it in like blocks.
Yes.
So do you draw it out first, or do you take the picture and kind of do your thing and figure that out?
If I was doing like this wall right here, I'd take a photo of the wall to see, make sure there's no like windows or anything, and see which direction people are viewing it from. Then I'll just measure it and then do it in Photoshop in the exact same dimensions, and then put the photo into Photoshop to make sure like it fits, and if it's a vertical image, it fits correctly. And then I'll drop a grid over that. And if the wall is huge, I might use like 2 or 3 foot squares. If it's a little wall, maybe 6-inch squares. And that way, if anything looks wonky or I have to go back over it, I can just do those squares over again. And then I work top to bottom, so if it drips, I don't screw anything up, and then go back over it all.
It was fascinating to watch you work. I mean, just to come in and you had this one square that you spent all day,
Yeah.
and then you came to the next square.
Yeah, because if you're doing like a nose or if you treat it like a part of someone, it's
Yeah.
trickier. If you're just doing like the lights and the darks and the colors.
It was amazing.
That's my second part,
Yeah.
unrelated to art. What advice would you give to someone getting into high school, plays baseball, to maybe make it further into college since you were able to play?
What position are you?
Outfield.
Figure out like what you're best at, and then improve everything else besides that. If you naturally can make contact, try and develop the other parts of your game, just that way, and then figure out where you're comfortable. Like if you're going to play in college, play somewhere where you think they'll bring out the best in you. Like look at for a program that's developed guys that came into college that play like you. And I mean, the transfer portal era is different. If you don't like it there, you can always go somewhere else. But yeah, like just play. If you can play with like older guys, like find like whether it be scout league or something, play with like guys that are better than you and face better pitching, then it'll push you to be better instead of being the best kid on a lower level.
What position did you play?
I was a reliever and I played right field. Terrible fielder, but I was a switch hitter, so I could
you
swing
hit?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a submariner though, so.
Ah.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. Hey, do both.
That's right.
Do both for as long as
That's
you can.
right.
'Cause a school that's low on scholarships would rather have a two-way guy.
Yeah. You had a question, Mike?
You have a trophy wall that you're targeting? One that you want to paint on that you have?
Oh,
get
yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was just talking to someone about that. Like with the Olympics and the World Cup and all this stuff coming, like the trophy wall is kind of ever evolving. Like one thing that I'm really adamant about painting one day suddenly might be less important or get dwarfed by something else coming up. But I'd love to be involved with anything that's LA. And now that LA is changing so fast, like every restaurant I feel like I grew up going to is gone. I want to kind of duck back and do like a series of paintings of like stuff that's gone that people are still like, similar to memorial murals, but do it for like restaurants and bars and parts of LA that are gone now. And I think you ask me in 6 months, my answer might be very different.
Right.
But I would like,
Dynamic answer.
Yeah.
at some point I would love to do like a Mount Rushmore of the guys who've put in like 20 plus years for LA teams, whether it be like Kershaw or Kobe,
That
Kopitar.
would, yeah.
And
Where would that go? You
That's a
think?
good question.
Yeah.
The Lakers training facility great, but they have
Yeah.
nothing to do with Kershaw. Like
Maybe
some-
maybe is there a wall by City Hall or on City Hall? Maybe, who knows?
You might be able to get Hollywood signed. It might be,
yeah,
right.
you might be able to monetize it by then.
yeah, and then good question though.
Yeah, that's a good one, Michael. Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions, sir?
People ever, you have issues with copyright with photos? Do you have to get a permission, or have you ever been, someone saw a picture and contacted you?
Yes, and it was actually miscommunication. I did a wall in Silver Lake, and some guy like was flipping on me for painting him, and I'm like, dude, who are you? And I thought he was a photographer, so I was like, I'm sorry, like if you want, like I'll give you a percentage or whatever it is. He just thought he was actually one of the guys that I'd painted on the mural. I'm like, dude, that's a band. Like you're not. Who? I was like, who are you? He's like, I'm a teacher in Rhode Island. I was like, no, it was a band from Silver Lake. But it's sort of, I wish Andy might be better to ask about that than me, because I've always wondered, like, when people get tattooed, do you have to get licenses from like Marilyn Monroe's estate if you want her on you? Like, I feel like artistic interpretation, sort of like capturing a moment in time. I know some artist got sued by University of Alabama for painting photos of Bama football, and they were like, he's acting as a historian, he's not, copyright infringing. And I guess as long as you make it art and you're not doing like the Obama Hope poster where you're just photoshopping someone else's image.
Right.
I think technically you're in the clear, but the more murals happen, the more people profit off them, the more that might change.
Yeah, it's a tough one because Jonas and other artists, they're interpreting the photo and not necessarily reproducing it. But there is a Supreme Court decision that came down a few years ago. It was Goldsmith, photographer Lynn Goldsmith versus the Andy Warhol estate, where they literally like stole her photo and made millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars off of her photo in different abstract forms that they put it out. And she actually won the case. So it's, I don't want to say it's a gray area because it's really not a gray area. I mean, I appreciate when the muralists pay some tribute to the photographer.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Getty Images has made that hard when you search for who took the original photo. It's like Getty Images. You're like, cool, but who took that photo? And sometimes it's impossible to go down that hole.
Yeah, it's true.
And like I have a couple ideas for Kobe and other walls I've wanted to do, but I've been kind of gun shy to do just because I don't know if it would kind of cross over into areas like that where I might get in trouble.
Yeah, it's actually this mural is actually made from 2 different photos. I don't know if you realize, you probably realize it because you painted it. But there's 2, one where he's got his fingers in the jersey, and then another one where he's out of the jersey, but his head is turned in this position.
The one at Grand Central, I use 2 different ones too, because usually the face is obscured or he's
That's
screaming.
Interesting.
So got in a weird habit of doing that.
Yeah, very
The
interesting.
one that, I think the statue of him with his hand
Yeah.
there's no photo of him from the front.
Right.
I tried to find that, and it's, in order to do stuff like that where you don't have the image you want, you have to be really creative.
Yeah.
Or now with ChatGPT, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of those coming out with weird, with like 8
Yeah,
fingers.
AI can just turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
How do you feel about it, Andy, when you see your photos? And you just walk, if you find out, oh, that's my picture that somebody painted.
I'm incredibly honored that somebody would be inspired by my photo. The difference with me is I don't own those images. The NBA does. I don't want to say they don't care, but the effort to go after or to litigate is probably not worth it. It's different if it's on a piece of apparel and it's out there. It's a consumer item, and people literally ripping off photos. But murals, especially if it's Kobe and Gigi, I mean, it's a tribute to them. So
even in like this photo, I guarantee you of all these people, maybe one of them actually tagged me for painting it.
Yeah.
And probably none of them tagged the original photographer who took the photo that I painted. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a trickle down effect.
Yeah. We had to be very conscious of the photographers who actually shot the image that inspired the mural. Then we sent photographers out to shoot the murals, right? And then the murals themselves had to be obviously taken care of and mentioned in the book with credit. So hopefully everybody got covered. Yes, sir.
Do your contracts contain a clause that the murals have to remain in perpetuity?
No. Some of them like that, there was nothing written whatsoever. We just did it. And then some of the walls, you kind of go under the assumption that they're going to last, and others are temporary. Like whether it be construction or just changing. I think a lot of the Kobe walls will remain, but I'm curious to see just as LA changes, like how many, like I've had a ton of walls painted over just for advertising, because if a landlord can make $20,000 a month off having Hulu ads on the top of their building, they're usually going to take that.
Yeah.
But
there's a great one in Newport that just came down.
Really?
That the landlord sold the wall.
Historically, murals have been kind of there was never a real permanence attached to them. Like it's sort of like they'd fade, they'd get screwed up, cities would change, and
buildings get torn down. The building could be built right next to it. All kinds of stuff.
Like I always assume part of the fun of why people went out to photograph murals was knowing that the next day it could be gone, it could be graffitied over, or there could be a condo built that obscures it. But I think times have changed now. There's a sentimentality attached to murals, and like some of them, like the symphony on the freeway on the 110 when you're going through downtown has been the same since I was a kid. And there's a million other murals that have come and gone. So I'm curious.
Well, like I said, that was Vanessa's motivation to do the book and get it done like soon. Although it took 4.5 years to do the book, but that's a whole other conversation. But to memorialize the murals while they are still there. Yeah, Mr. Burke.
What do you think LA stacks up in terms of our international, are we a mural city or are we?
Yes, and I think everyone comes here, like LA and Miami are 2 of the big ones where everyone comes to and wants to paint a wall here to be a part of the artistic landscape. You go to some towns and it's like the same 2 artists that have every mural in that city. And LA is more welcoming, and the weather is also great in like LA and Miami, so everyone comes here, and whether it be for those like mural events or just because they want to be a part of the scene. And tourists come from all over the world to take photos here, so if you have a wall in downtown or Venice or Santa Monica, then everyone's going to see it for the most part, and you'll be there's a different kind of acclaim than if you do a wall in like Topeka, Kansas.
Yeah, I was just in Miami. Addison and I last week, we were in Wynwood, where the entire neighborhood is a mural, is one after the other.
And what do you think? Like I think
it was amazing.
But like how we have like pretty much the only mural on Mission.
Yeah,
I like how it stands out more when you're like a standalone mural in a city versus being a sea of murals and it's easy to get lost.
Well, it was interesting because it was like what was it, like a 5 square block area in Wynwood, and there was not one Kobe mural that we could find.
Were there any D Wade?
There, it might have been Wade. No, it was all kind of, really
Like,
no
When I
sports.
went to Miami, there was no Bad Boys, there was no Miami Vice, there was no D Wade. I'm
Yeah, it
like,
was
dude,
weird.
why don't you guys paint Miami stuff here?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, folks, thanks for coming. Really appreciate everyone supporting SPARC. First of all, appreciate Jonas schlepping out here from the west side on a Saturday. Thank you so much. Reminder that the artist proofs for Taura's art here, the collaboration I did with her, are for sale. They're right here if you want to take a look. If it has a red dot on it on the wall, it means that the artist proof has been sold. Books are here. Jonas and I are happy to sign it, all 3 books, or any book that you want. All proceeds, of course, go to SPARC. So just by being here, you guys are supporting us, so keep coming back to our events. We basically have an opening almost every month, right? I mean, literally. Next Saturday. So this is coming down. Another one's coming up. We also have the Chamber Gallery, which is right here on Mission Street, which is a lot of right now we have an emerging artist, emerging photographers show with my man Addison right here as part of that show. So please keep supporting the arts in any way you can here in South Pasadena, but SPARC should be your number 1 stop. So thank you. Thanks, folks.
that was fun, man. That was awesome. Really fun.
So much fun chatting with Jonas at the closing of the Art of Sport show at the SPARC Gallery. Please follow Jonas on Instagram at Never1959. That's at Never1959. Please also follow and support SPARC on their Instagram at South Pasadena Arts Council. Again, that's at South Pasadena Arts Council. Thanks to my fellow SPARC board members for hosting the podcast in our gallery. Please come by and visit if you're in our area of Southern California. We have new shows every month with terrific artists. Thanks as always to our editors Sean Gosser and Addison Shao. And thanks everyone for joining us for this episode of the podcast. You know how much we appreciate all our loyal followers. Please tell all your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Legends of Sport, and our Instagram at Legends of Sport, and my Instagram at ADB Photo Inc. Please check out the discount link in our social media to our friends at Muggsy. We absolutely 100% love Muggsy's clothes. And the discount link to our friends at You Should, the best way you should protect your skin for work, play, and everyday life. Thanks again, folks. We'll be back next week with another great episode of the Legends of Sport podcast.